Hey guys, it's Jez here from Windows Central, and I just thought I'd offer a quick overview of Fable and why it's really important actually for Xbox's future. So Fable is a classic Xbox action RPG franchise, defined the early years of the Xbox brand. The games are known for their reactivity, comical combat, and unapologetically British comedy. Playground Games is renowned for visually stunning and immersive open-world experiences. Playground noted in a blog post on Xbox Wire, Playground Games expanded to a second team to undertake Fable, follows the company's, penchant for massive open worlds, a la Forza Horizon. Fable will have a huge, seamless open world, allowing players to travel anywhere from the get-go. Players will be able to customize their main character with a range of predetermined bodies, faces, hair, skin, tattoo customization, and that kind of thing. You can customize your playstyle heavily as well, across heavy melee combat or with two-handed weapons, dagger, finisher mechanics. You can use ranged weapons like bows and crossbows. You can weave them with magical attacks and spells. Indeed, I've seen people comparing the Fable combat to The Witcher 3, and that makes a lot of sense because some of the developers on The Witcher 3 and CD Projekt Red actually came across the Playground to work on this game. In a blog post on Xbox Wire, Playground says, "This is something of a reboot. We've chosen not to be beholden to the timeline of the original games," the developers say. Playground says it wants to use the setting of Albion to tell their own new story. But I think what's really surprised people about the Fable reveal is not just like the quality that it seems to be exuding, but also the depth. Fable does bring back a lot of the simulation elements from the previous games, including crafting, flirting with villagers, having kids with the villagers, getting married to the villagers, buying houses with the villagers, getting divorced from the villagers, evicting the villagers from houses that you own, so on and so forth. Playground describes the NPCs as the living population of Albion, complete with personalities and daily routines. The characters will wake up, go to work, indulge in hobbies, go to sleep. You can hire them to work in businesses you own. You might rent them houses. You can evict them. Everything you do affects how they perceive you too. If you buy tons of houses, they might think of you as a rich arsehole potentially. Kick chickens around like the old school games and they'll see you as cruel. Help them out and maybe they'll love you. Your choices change the world, Playground says. You kill a huge giant, the corpse might lay there for the rest of the game, negatively impacting regional house prices. The local townsfolk will thus have diverse opinions about the impact you've had on the region as a result. I don't want to sound too harsh, but Microsoft typically, when it comes to building their own games, that sort of AAA quality bar has often eluded them in games that aren't simulatory in nature. They've delivered incredibly well when it comes to racing games and games like Flight Simulator. These kind of games don't have complex characters or storylines that have to intersect and interweave with the other game's systems. They're very systems based, and Microsoft has always excelled at delivering those kind of experiences. Forza Horizon is the best racing franchise on earth bar none, and then games like Flight Simulator, which I mentioned earlier, and so on and so forth. They've always done very well with these kind of games, but in the Phil Spencer era, these kind of story-driven experiences has often eluded them when it comes to that AAA Game of the Year contender quality bar. Fable seems like it might be the first game in a new era for Xbox game studios, and I've been trying to find out more about why that is. I've been told that by going multi-platform, Microsoft Studios can now take on the kind of risk that those other big-name AAA publishers often undertake, like your CD Projekt Red, your Rockstar, and that kind of thing, sticking only to the Xbox install base, which is, invariably smaller than PlayStation's, and also they've got PC as well. But to really reach up there to the level of the likes of, Cyberpunk or The Witcher or an Elden Ring and things like that, you really need to have PlayStation's install base and that sort of much larger potential audience. In fact, I've heard we'll see similar from Gears of War E-Day, and as well as the next true Halo mainline title after Halo Campaign Evolved Remastered, because all of these games are eventually going to be multi-platform either day one or later on after the fact. And the only reason that some games like Forza Horizon or Fable might not hit day one is simply because Microsoft's still setting up its pipeline to do multi-platform development with some of the studios. I wrote last year how any exclusive Xbox has here on out will pretty much be as a result of incidental issues like not having the dev kits, not having the pipeline in place. But eventually the plan is for everything to be day and date PlayStation, Xbox, PC, although the Xbox version obviously will be play anywhere. So technically, if you're an Xbox customer, you're not only getting a cloud version, you're getting a console version, and you're also getting a PC version, all with one single purchase. So while the games themselves aren't exclusive, Microsoft's trying to win on the features you get as a result of your purchase within the Xbox ecosystem. But that's not really what we're talking about here today. By leveraging the PlayStation install base, Microsoft can now boost the budget, boost the investment on these kind of experiences. They're no longer restricted to the install base of Xbox and PC. They now have the install base of PlayStation to offset some of that risk, which means they can invest in studios. They can invest in doing things like adding a second team to Playground. They can invest in growing studios like Obsidian and in Exile and Double Fine and so on and so forth. In fact, I've heard that Double Fine is working on a much bigger project alongside Kiln. But of course, this isn't exactly a silver bullet. As we've seen from the Initiative and other studios, Microsoft has cancelled projects, they've shut down studios, and they haven't always executed well. Obviously, it's pie in the sky to say, like, all the games are eventually going to hit Fable's quality bar. We don't even know for sure if Fable's going to be a complete banger. It looks pretty great on paper, but we don't know for sure until we've got it in our hands, right? Microsoft hasn't always executed. But I do think with Fable, we are seeing the beginning of a new era of quality at Xbox Game Studios. I've heard that Microsoft's going to stop doing this thing where they announce games years in advance of when they're actually going to release. They're only going to start announcing and marketing games once they're absolutely locked in and the game's definitely coming out. So as a result of this, what we should see is potentially a more consistent Xbox. One that actually delivers on what it announces, and one that actually can reach that Game of the Year contender level, which has long eluded Xbox as a business. On the flip side, Xbox players have lost some forms of exclusivity, but Microsoft previously said they want to win on hardware and features, and Xbox Play Anywhere is a pretty great feature from where I'm sitting. But of course, your mileage may vary. Let us know what you think of Fable and Xbox's strategy in the comments. I've been Jason, Windows Central, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.